Welcome back, everyone. I'm assuming that you've watched my jQuery table video already. So I am going to dive into another example, and I just wanted to hammer into your heads why jQuery is so awesome. So I literally Googled big example JSON, and I found this URL right down here. And they literally have a JSON data set for all the United States zip codes. Look how big that is, 656 gigabytes. It's just absolutely massive. So basically I downloaded that and I just went ahead and pasted it right in my JavaScript. So you notice that we have the exact same setup here for our jQuery. So take a look at this. Make sure you're sitting down. But this is our JSON. Spread that baby out. That is all the zip codes in the United States of America. Absolutely huge. So I have it as an object stored as zip code. There are way better ways to get data back and forth, but just for clarity's sake, I just copied and pasted it in. So you can see that's all right there. So if you ever want to see your browser struggle, I'm going to console log zip codes. If you see why my computer is a laggy, you can understand why. It's got to deal with a lot of data right now. So let's go ahead and open this in browser. That's how big that is. That is a lot. And that's just not even items, because these are all individual objects. You see? A lot of data stored in there. So right now, the data is really ugly, like in this JSON format. To a coder, yes, we understand this, but you don't want to ever give this to a client if a client wanted this. So what we want to do is we want to make this nice for them. We want to put this as a table again. And now, for time's sake, it's going to include most of this same logic for the table head. So I'm going to take this back, post that in here, and once again, I'm assuming that you've watched the other video so that you understand what I'm doing here. So basically, I still need to do all this stuff, right? Okay, that's going to be where it's different. So with the John Wick example, notice how I made the columns separately because there were so few. But now what I can do is I can literally have another for loop that does that for me. So we're going to quickly do that here. So we're going to grab the keys out of one of them. So if I console logged zip code, and I only console logged the first one. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. We'll go ahead and reload it. There it is. So you can see these are the keys. ID, which is the zip code, city, location, which is an array of the longitude and latitude, population in thousands, I'm assuming, and the state, so Massachusetts. So we want those keys. So what we can do, and I already checked, it's uniformed for all of these. So all the keys are the same. So we just want the keys out of that first one. So once again, I showed you how to do this, but this is var key equals object, capital object. Okay, I'm struggling here. Send in the police dot object keys, and we'll then pass this in. I think I'm missing a parenthesis. No, I am not. I'm good. So console log keys, let's double check that everything's running the way we want it to. Oop, that would break. So there is our array of all of that information. So let's double check that our table is doing exactly what we want. It is not. Did I call this display? Oh, I called it info. That's why. Now it should be a little nicer. There's the table and the head. It's already made. Now we want to put these keys inside this head. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a for loop. And we're going to do the length of keys. And I'm going to change this JavaScript notation called let so that it's only declared inside this variable or this scope of the for loop. So what I'm going to do is let th equal and I'm going to make this element right here. So now I need to apply text to that. And that's simply going to be the keys. And now I'm just going to simply append it to the page. Oops. So you can see I have city, location, population, state, and ID, which is zip code. So there we go. So now we have that already made. So as the keys. Now once again, in my previous example, I just simply, because since it was only 2, I just did it like this instead of having a for loop. So now since it's more, I'm just doing it with a for loop. So now what I'm going to do is come down here, and now I need to apply this. But before I do that, I need to, and once again, I'm going to copy paste from my own old code. I'm going to need to make the body. And then I just need to append it to the table. So now we've done the body, we've done all of this up here. So now we need to apply the actual rows up here. So this can get tricky, but we're going to do another for loop. And we're going to go the length of zip code. So we're going to go about 29,000 or about 30,000 times. Oops. Once again, this is the power of jQuery. It allows us to manipulate the DOM using JavaScript. So what we're going to do is we're going to make dynamically every time. And what we're going to do is make this. So it's going to do that. Awesome. And then we got to append that to the page. Just like so. And now what we're going to do is we are going to now put the text for each one of these in there. So that is where we need to make individual ones. And so this is where your bulk of your typing is going to go. So we're going to make city. Now, I could have done this with another for loop, but I don't like to put a for loop within a for loop because that makes the O runtime really, really big. And with this data size, it would really clog it up. So it's a lot faster to do it this way in this case. So now I need to make one for city, location, population, state, and ID. And I already have them made over here, so I'm just going to copy and paste them in here so I don't bore you with that. So you can see them right there. So I've made so for example, I made one for each one here. So that's exciting. And so now what I need to do is apply the text. This can be tricky because you're dealing with a huge object, so you have to just think it through. So we're going to apply text. We're always going to do that. So we're going to go into zip code, I, and then we're going to do .city, just like that. So basically what's happening here is if I go to the first example, it's going into the first one. So the very first one, obviously in the top, but just bear with me. Say this is the first one. So it's going to go into the first one, so 0, and then it's going to do .city, so it's going to put this word in that column for us. And once again, I already have this written, so I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste. So there they are. And so, once again, I'm getting all of these things one by one. Oh, I don't know why that got so long. There we go. So there we go. And now we just need to simply, all we have yet to do is append it to the page. Oops. So that now puts the city in here. And once again, I have this already written. So now we're applying them each to the page. Now, bear with me. This is going to take some load time on Chrome because this is a very, very big file. So I'm going to go ahead and reload this. And it's thinking. You go over to the network tag, you can see that happening. Oh, where's the J? So see, it's thinking. Still thinking. Okay, there it is. I got worried there because, yeah, you never know it's going to break. Especially with a file this big. So there it is. Now, if this does not make you giddy, then I don't know what I can do for you, because we have just taken an object of about the length of 30,000, and with a few lines of code, I mean a few lines of code, look at this. I can get this probably, yeah, all on one screen. Look at that. And if I highlighted this, it's going to tell me, okay, so it's 59 lines, and if I took away all the breaks, and I just had this all touching each other, this is going to look really ugly. Bear with me. I hate it when there's not enough spaces. It's not console log key because it's not necessary. "37 lines, and I'm still missing one right here, so that'd be -1, 2. So 35 lines. Oh, I forgot to do that one. 34 lines. With 34 lines, we are able to make this. Now, if my computer crashes, yeah, you'll know why. So if I come over here and I undocked it, that's what you're seeing here, and I open this, it takes a while for this to think. So bear with it. There it is. It just opened. So what I attempted to do was copy and paste this. So if you come up here and you go like this, and then you can copy the whole thing right here. Or what's really cool, they have you edit as HTML, so you can open this and it'll open a sub window, and then you can edit the HTML right in there. I tried to copy that and paste it into Sublime so it would show you how much text you would actually have to write, and it nearly crashed my computer because the file is just so huge. That's the power. So here it is. It just loaded. Look at this. Can you imagine typing this out by hand? Just unbelievable amount of work. But with jQuery, we're able to do it in just a few seconds. So now we can actually search this and we can find my zip code, Orlando. So there you go. So this is a awesome example of why jQuery is just truly sexy and something that is a must know for web development. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that.